installment of Cougars Football Weekly. I'm your host, Jeremy Salou. This week we're going to journey into the Cougars film room with head coach Ed Jenkins. We're going to go over some plays from the Jeanette football game on Friday night, which the Cougars were 50-0 losers, and look at some correctable mistakes that Coach Jenkins is confident that can be fixed. We're going to highlight a defensive player who really stood out, and we'll get into the upcoming game against Wash High this week. Coach, welcome to this week's show.
Thanks, Jeremy.
First, let's look at Eric Johnson. Everybody knows the offensive skill set he brings to the table. A lot of people may not know about his defensive skills. So let's look at a couple plays that he really stood out for you this week against the Jayhawks.
Eric's been awfully good at free safety for us this year. Against Jeanette, he came out. He was hot early, making some big plays for us. Here you'll see, in our cover 3 look, if we roll the film, he comes out of there, makes a great read early on in the ball carrier, takes a good angle to the ball, and really does a good job here making a tackle. One of the things that Eric really does well at the free safety position is diagnose plays. His play diagnosis is pretty quick. He does take really good angles to the football, and that's something that we look for in our free safety, is helping the run support, and he does an excellent job for us.
How much does his field vision from his offensive skill set play a role in his defensive side?
I think it certainly helps. Eric's a heady football player. He's a guy that has high football IQ. And I think when he flips over from offense to defense, he's comfortable with the transition. There's not a whole lot of thought process there for him. It seems to be seamless, if you will. And so for him, just smooth transition, going back to free safety, and having an understanding of what offenses are trying to do to us. Here's a play where he reads kind of a dive. Again, takes a great angle to the football. You can see here that he's actually pointing. So play diagnosis again is one of Eric's strong suits. He does run to the football, and when he does get to the football, he makes some things happen. He's a very physical kid by nature. Here in the middle of the field, again in our cover 3 look, Eric's gonna take a bit of a bad angle to the ball, but he does a pretty good job of still getting himself on film here and getting to the tackle.
Jordan Emmons stopped on a play by number 2, Eric Johnson.
Okay, Coach, we've seen Eric against the run. Let's see him against the pass when he's not going towards the line of scrimmage but away from it.
Yeah, he obviously affords us that ability as well. Here Eric again is in our cover 3 look, safety in the middle of the field. Here he reads play action. We got a crosser, and Eric's able to make a play here on that crosser. Even though he takes a couple steps into the play action fake here, he's still able to get back into the middle of the field and make a positive play on the field for us. I think anybody else, this would be a touchdown for Jeanette, but again, Eric's athleticism, his ability to diagnose the play, and his nose for the football allows us the opportunity to fall for play action a little bit in there.
Now, how important is it that on this play he must read the quarterback's eyes? Because it's obvious 10 yards behind Eric, there's another guy wide open that the quarterback obviously was not looking at. So how important was his vision there?
It's very important. Here Eric's seeing a lot of things right now. Right here, if we pause right here, he's creeping to play action. This is action that he saw early on in the drive. They ran the Sally play. They ran buck sweep that way, and so Eric was in on some of those plays. So right now he's seeing that same kind of action, and then they come back off of that action with the bootleg, and he's able to redirect and get back to his landmark in the middle of the field. And so for him, he really does a good job of recognizing that it's not run, recognizing that it is pass, and he does a good job of getting back into his third and making a positive play for us.
Last week, Coach, we talked about the pre-snap penalties was one thing that really hurt you. There were more mistakes made, obviously. I mean, you have a very young team, but there are a lot of mistakes that you see are correctable. going forward?
There are a ton of mistakes that are correctable going forward. You know, we're a young football team that's learning on the fly. Our goal is to get better each week and to be better this coming week than we were the last week. And so I feel like we've done that. Where we really need to clean it up is pre-snap penalties. We have a lot of false starts. We have a lot of illegal formation looks, and those are things that we can correct and that we're working to correct on a daily basis that'll make us sharper as a football program. So I'm encouraged by that. I'm encouraged by the fact that, you know, even though we're young, we're playing better, and the mistakes that we are making are mistakes that we can correct moving forward.
Okay, Coach, early on the schedule has been brutal for you. Week 1, you get a talented Yawk team. Week 2, Jeanette brings their stable of athletes in here to Cougar Stadium. This week, you take your show on the road for the first time against a talented Wash High team. Very high-powered offense. Running back Shay McKenzie, quarterback Josh Wise, their fullback Jalen Kelly.
Yeah, you know, Washington's very talented on offense. It all starts behind center with Josh Wise at quarterback, Kelly at fullback, and then of course Shay McKenzie, their tailback. You know, here we've got to look at McKenzie running the football off tackle, getting good blocking by his fullback, Kelly. And this is the guy we're going to have to contend with. You know, he's a hard runner, possesses a unique combination of speed and power that you don't generally see at the high school level. And so for us to be able to stop him or contain him, we're going to have to get 11 hats to the football and gang tackle as often as possible. Here you got a clip of McKenzie against Southmoreland last week. Again, this is just a regular zone lead play that he takes the distance. Shay McKenzie's a special runner. He has a combination of power and speed that's rare at the high school level. And this is a guy that we're going to have to contend with for 4 quarters. We're going to have to get 11 guys to the ball and really wrap them up.
Next up, Jalen Kelly leading the way for McKenzie here. Big body, very athletic, strong.
Strong, athletic. He's a big fullback by high school standards and also a capable ball carrier, as you can see here. You know, this simple G play where they pull the guard and kick out the end, try to get the runner up underneath the linebackers here. And again, he does a pretty good job of just staying low, running with good gravity, good balance, and he's another guy that can hurt you. They're both talented in the backfield.
As if the 2 running backs weren't enough, you got a quarterback like Josh Wise, very highly touted, accurate passer, good runner. I think here we're going to see him throw a touchdown pass against the Scotties. Just tell me a little bit about what you know about Josh.
He's an above-average quarterback. You know, he's a guy that does a really good job getting back in his drop, reading the coverage. He's an athletic kid. You know, here he is, a 5-step drop, throws a very nice ball outside, gets one-on-one coverage, gives his receiver a chance. So I think he understands where he's going with the football. I think he understands the matchups that he has in his skill position. And when you got a quarterback like that who can add some passing to their already powerful run game, they make for a pretty dangerous football team.
Last but not least, in practice this week, what are you and your coaching staff putting together to combat this offensive talent?
We've got a tackle, and I know we've talked about that before. We've got to get 11 guys to the football, 11 hats around the ball this week. These backs don't go down with 1 or 2 guys. It's going to take a team effort to tackle. We've got to be better and fundamentally sound in terms of assignment football, and I think that's where we've got to start. It's going to be a physical football game. Washington definitely brings a certain physicalness to this game, and we've got to be able to match that.
Okay, Coach. Well, thanks for letting us into the film room here, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, thanks.